So I survived vacation, and I also received a book that I ordered over a year ago. It's been a good week. Welcome back to Already Overbooked. My name's Josh, and I am very excited to go through and talk about what's been happening on my side of the house for this past 2 weeks. So let's just jump right into what did I go through and read while I was on vacation, and then this week since I've been back. So one of the books I went through and binged read at night while I was on the cruise was an art copy of The Clatterman by Janelle Shiki. And if I mispronounced your last name, Janelle, welcome to the Josh Can't Pronounce Last Names Club. So there you go. So Janelle Shiki wrote her novel, The Clatterman. This book was intense. This book gave me the vibes of Jason Voorhees with the Candyman and Freddy Krueger all mixed up together. You felt her love for the horror genre within this book. I am planning on doing a full review of this book once the cover is available. I think it's supposed to be coming out within the next few weeks, but at the day that goes through and drops within the next 24, 48 hours, I should have a review of her book ready to go. And I can talk a little bit more excitement about that book. It was a lot of fun. And definitely, if you're a fan of horror, this book is definitely going to be right up your alley. The next book I went through and read was honestly a disappointment. This was The Buffalo Hunter. I understand why some people might really love this book. I unfortunately was not one of those individuals. I guess I had higher expectations for this book. I was under the assumption that this was a horror book based in historical United States with Indians. And I was like, that sounds amazing. Vampires in the 1800s. Who wouldn't think that would be amazing? It felt more like a historical fiction book rather than a horror book. And that's kind of where it was pulling me out. I know I've heard a lot of other people talk about there is multiple layers of this book. This individual found a manuscript and it was written by a person who was interviewing a vampire. So you were getting a firsthand account told to the person who wrote the story down, who then hid the story, and the book was read by someone hundreds of years later about their ancestor. So that bothered me really at the beginning, but I kind of got over it. I kind of figured out the pacing that Stephen Graham was trying to go through and write with this book. But the story itself wasn't hitting for me. There was some parts of the first part of the book um, that I really enjoyed. You felt the horror, you felt the intensity of what was happening within the story. Definitely when some of the main characters showed up, but the overall arching whole book, I felt like it was dragged on. There was things that were talked about that was just like, okay, I get it. Let's move back into the horror. It wasn't there for me. It was a lot of hit and misses. When it was hitting, it hit very hard and hit great, but there was too many valleys and not enough hills for this book. So probably won't be doing an individual review for this one, which was very disappointing because I was hoping to talk about this one um, in more detail when I started the book, but it happens. Sometimes you have a miss. But the next book was 100% not a miss. This book I read in about a week. As soon as I got back from vacation, I started reading this book, and I just finished it earlier today while I was on my lunch break, and that was Empire Silence by Krista Rocchio. This book was so good. I cannot believe I have not read this book prior to this. I love every aspect of the story. It was intense. The narrative was written so well. The prose was on point. This was a buddy read with Rowdy. I think I mentioned this on the last weekly recap, and I'm going to go into a lot more details about this book. I'm 100% going to go through and continue this series. I really need to know what happens next. This ended not with a cliffhanger, but with a, oh my goodness, I feel like half these people are going to go through and die very soon. But the character development of Hadrian was perfectly done. And I get why this book gets so much love, and excited to talk about it with Rowdy later on this month. I'll put it somewhere up here of when we're actually having the conversation. I think it's the 28th. It's end of this month, last week of this month. I'll put it here. We're going to go through and talk about it. And it is amazing. So if you have not, for some reason, haven't read Empire Sonic, read this book. It's thick, but I felt like it was novella size with how much I could not put this book down. I was just binging it all week. So good. Cannot wait to jump into the next one very soon. All right, so that's what I read. So let's jump into what am I reading. So first one I am almost finished with is Toothsucker by Caden Love. This was another art copy that I received, and this book is intense. So quick synopsis, because I am planning on doing a review of this, but just a quick taste of what this book's about. It is about refugees who were implanted with something that makes them need to eat human teeth to survive. Think of it as vampires needing to eat your teeth to survive in a cyberpunk-ish type of world. Crazy. This Caden, this was intense, dude. Intense. I'm super excited to see how this book goes through an end, and I plan on doing a full review of this book very, very soon. The next one I am currently planning on starting this week as well. Once I get done with Toothsucker, is Wrath of Olympus. So this one will be started today. So I will. So this falls under books that I'm currently reading. And then I'm about two chapters into Crisscross by F. Paul Wilson. So I still have a good bit to get through with this. I, again, love this series. It's so much fun. It started out very intense. So we'll see if this becomes a new favorite within the Repairman Jack series. So those are three books I'm currently going through and reading. So what did I buy, pre-order, or receive as a gift for these past 2 weeks? So I've already mentioned I received an art copy of The Clatterman, and also received an art copy of Toothsucker. Clatterman, like I mentioned, is fantastic. We'll be doing a review. Toothsucker, so far, it is crazy, and it's so good, and super excited to go through and talk about that. Another book I went through and got for free from Amazon was Magic Kingdom at War. It anytime I see an art copy that has an awesome looking cover, I'm gonna go through and get it. And it was free, so you can't go wrong with a free book on Amazon. And then if I enjoy it, I'm going to go through and buy it, and then I'll go through and buy the rest of the series. So we'll see once I get around to go through and read those. I did pre-order one book after my conversation with Ryan Skeffington, and I went immediately and bought Eternal Dreams. I am super excited to go through and read that book when it comes in. If you have not listened to that conversation with Ryan, it was so much fun. Ryan is awesome. I'll put the link above and also in the description below, so you can go through and watch that amazing interview. Ryan's awesome, and we did a cover reveal. So it was the first one that I've ever done on the channel, and it was so much fun. And I do appreciate Ryan allowing me to be the one to do the official cover reveal. And I'm super excited for that book to come in. It's going to be a blast. So I also received a Bookmail in, and I mentioned this at the beginning of the video, of a book that I ordered on March of 2024. Yes, it's been 13 months since I ordered this book, and I've been patiently waiting for this book. Now, this is only book I only received one of the 5 books that I went through and ordered. The other 4 should be coming in hopefully within the next few weeks. Once they do, I'll show them off as well. But I have to go through and show this off. This is such a beautiful book. And this is book number 5 of Rhaeria Chronicles by the great Michael J. Sullivan Drumondor. This book is a fantasy Casablanca. So if you know anything about Casablanca, I love that movie. And this has that Casablanca feel for Hadrian and Royce. This book is so good, and this is very, very pretty, and I'm super excited to finally have this in my hand. So I'm going to go through and show you a few cool things about this book. So I'm going to do a quick turnaround. Look at that. Look at that. Gorgeous. And then they also have a few pictures as well. So we got those right here. Then we also have a map on the back. Can't go wrong with a nice looking map. And then what's amazing about this book as well, he has pictures in here as well, signed as well by the great and powerful Michael J. Sullivan. And then he also put in here, because it received a lot of backing, there's some hand drawn pictures, sketches of what some of the areas look like by Michael when he went through and wrote this book. So it's very, very cool to go through and have different kind of drawings and artwork work in here of different areas and what things looked like for Michael within his mind. And then look at this one. Look at that. Look at that picture. Amazing. Gives off that Casablanca feel within this book. So much fun. I'm gonna show one more in here. There's a bunch of pictures in here. So excited. So I also went through and ordered the first 4 books in the Chronicles as well. So I paid the extra for those. So those should be coming in, and I'll go through and show those off when they become available. There we go. Found it. Found it. All right. So yeah, so there's another drawing of what the city looks like. Look at there. So cool. So cool. Super excited to go through and put this on the shelf. So this is my first fancy book I've ever bought. So I'm very happy it finally made it in. So can't wait for the rest of them to come in. I'm going to put it literally right behind me because that's, I want to show this off as much as possible. So super happy for it to come in. Excited for the next 4 to show up when they can. So what's going to happen next week on the channel? So Monday, I'm hoping, it's Friday now, I'm hoping to have Toothsucker finished by the end of day today, if not tomorrow. We do have a baseball game, but I'm hoping I can get some reading done after the game. So I'm going to have a review coming out on Monday for Toothsucker by Caden Love. Then we have coming up, we have our 2 shorts on Wednesday and on Thursday. Both of them are going to be 1-sentence reviews. And then next Friday is a weekly recap. So it's going to be a fun week of different content coming out and different reading things as well. So let's jump into life updates. So, as I mentioned, I just got back from vacation, but things were a little bit hectic that happened before vacation. So, literally 2 days before I was supposed to be leaving to go on my cruise with the family, my refrigerator decided to just stop working completely. I spent hours trying to go through and fix it. I deep cleaned it out. I went through and cleaned the coils, tried to change some parts in it, did everything I physically could to try to fix it, but unfortunately it was time for it to go. So that was an expense I wasn't going to expecting to go through and pay, but what can you do? Then we ended up getting on the cruise. We drove about 4 or 5 hours to get down to our cruise in Florida, and it was a lot of fun. We went to Icon of the Sea. I think it was Icon of the Sea that we were on, which was a beautiful ship. Oh my goodness, it was so much fun. The kids had a blast. We had my nieces and nephews. We had cousins showing up. It was a lot of fun. I'll go through and show some pictures. I'm only going to show pictures of me and the wife on here because I don't want my kids all over the internet. It was a blast. We ended up going to the Bahamas and went on a pirate ship, and the kids had a blast on the pirate ship. They got a bunch of gold coins. My oldest son ended up winning a competition that they had on there, which was he was super excited about. So he's 6 and he was beating kids that were 12, 13 years old in this game. So it was very, very cool to see his little reflexes a lot faster than everybody else. So that was fun. On the boat, there was rock climbing. There was ice skating. There was a lot of cool shows. So it was very cool seeing my kids experience certain things for the first time that they normally don't get to do. Because where I am, there's not a lot of ice skating, but seeing my kids out there ice skating and having a blast was very, very cool. We ended up, the second place we ended up going to was Coco Cay. I'll put a map somewhere up here so you can go through and see it. It's a private island owned by Royal Caribbean, and it was so much fun. And that you can go in, and they had like private beaches. They had areas where you can swim with pigs. They had chickens running around. It was very, very cool and fun. You can rent jet skis and all that kind of cool stuff. The kids had a blast. We had so much fun on the island and on the boat. It was a blast. A lot of experience, a lot of great memories. And we're planning another one this time next year to take the kids on. So look out for another. I'll do more videos and stuff at that time so you can kind of see a little more of the interactions. I kind of wanted to stay off my phone while I was on vacation this go around. So just to be in the moment with the kids, but it was a lot of fun. I really went through, enjoyed it. Did not get a lot of sleep, but I did go through and read a good amount of books, so that was good. But didn't sleep a lot and did spend a lot more money than I was expecting to. But it's always fun. It was a good time. All right, so let's jump into the indie spotlight. So this week's indie spotlight goes to E.H. Bradley, who has a new book called The Veil coming out in June. EH is awesome. I would highly recommend going through and checking out The Veil. It's supposed to be a mixture of a multiple different genres, but it's his first time jumping into the horror aspect. So I'm super excited to jump into The Veil to see what it is like. So the next one is Booktuber Spotlight. I went through and think this week I wanted to go through and give a big shout out to Raven from Only the Best Fantasy Novels. Robin is amazing. He is an awesome individual. We talk all the time on BookTube, and his reviews are amazing. If I want a great book that is not being pushed out by a lot of people, but I know it's going to be amazing, I automatically go to his videos, and he does amazing reviews. I'll put his all of his information down in the description, also with E.H. Bradley, so you can go through and check out the YouTube channel of Only the Best Fantasy Novels and E.H. Bradley's website. You can go through and pre-order his book. So that's all we got for this week. Let me know down in the comments, how's your week been? Have you read anything amazing, or has anything crazy happened to you that you want to go through and talk about? I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe. You know what to do. Till I see you in the next one.